Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button on my phone. But here is when the clock was made, October 28th, 1957. So it's not a modern clock, it's a vintage clock. And so for the price, I'm happy. And these folks were smart enough to put the date that they made the clock. Why couldn't all the other people out there been smart enough to put the date that they made the clock? And that is where it gets so frustrating when you have a clock you can't figure out the date on it, especially with antique cuckoo clocks. I wish the manufacturers would have taken the time and signed their name, put their name, and a date that they made the clock. Thank you for putting the date that you made the clock on this clock case. So, German clock made in 1957. I'm going to finish cleaning up this case. You're supposed to wait 5 minutes before you wipe the mask on. So it's been pretty close to that. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes, then I'm going to wipe it off. Hope y'all are enjoying this video. I got the movement all cleaned up. I oiled it, I wound it, and it's ticking away. I wanted to tell you, I use a piece of wire, and y'all seen this in my other videos, that I take a hammer and flatten one end and dip it down in my oil, and then just touch the pivot holes with that wire. If you get it on the case itself, on the movement plate, wipe it off. It only needs to be in the pivot holes. And then you also want to put a dab on the escapement wire. But anyway, it's sitting there ticking away, and it's time to put it back in the case. Here's the case. I got it all wiped off, cleaned up with that New Life furniture mask. As y'all seen in previous videos, there is some damage to the case where somebody, I guess they screwed the eagle down on too tight and they broke this piece of wood, so they glued it. I'm gonna maybe cut some of that off, but I don't want to cut too much off because it is on there and they did a crappy job gluing the piece of wood. They should have trimmed this up afterwards. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll put the movement back in the case and put the brass pieces, fins on the sides, and we'll get back. Hope y'all are liking this video. I did cut the extra glue off. I think they used maybe Gorilla Glue, because when Gorilla Glue dries, it expands. This was some kind of rubber glue. It might have not been Gorilla Glue, but I got quite a bit of it off. I'm satisfied with that. But time to put the movement back in. Before I put the movement back in, I need to do some work on this bezel and dial. I don't know if you could see it or not, but the screws are loose. They're coming out. So I need to get out my little screwdriver and tighten those up and clean up the window. A good friend of mine who works on clocks for a living turned me on to this. He purchased it at Menards. It works really good on cleaning up windows. And I even use this on my computer and TV, but I highly suggest prior to cleaning any electronics to unplug them and get the power off. I know somebody who was cleaning up a computer and she got electrocuted and now she's disabled. So unplug the computers and the TV from the wall prior to cleaning them up.